Hi, my extraordinaires. Welcome back to another in the series Beyond Ordinary. So, this week I'll be exploring yet another interesting and provocative topic that I want for you to consider again in your small circles, your large circles, around the dinner table, around the cooler, in the comfort of your homes, wherever the conversation can be had and distilled. So, thank you once again. For those of you who are new here, I am Shelly, and for those of you who are not so new here, welcome back. So, you may be asking yourself, what is this week's topic? What are we talking about, Shelly? What are we buzzing about this week? So, I wanted for us to look at some of the things that has caused us to be broke and how can we break ourselves out of those habits that put us into a state of being broke. So this week's topic, of course, is 10 habits that keep you broke and how to break from them. And I wanted to start off, of course, by laying the foundation as to why this was a topic um, of thought and more so provocative thinking, is because for quite some time during my early adult life, I would often imagine that at some point in time my bank account would be growing. But of course, that was not my experience between my early 20s and, say, my early 30s. So between about 20 and, say, 35, thereabout, I thought to myself, my bank account should really be growing. What is happening? A lot of things were just not falling in line where my numbers were concerned. So of course, you yourself may be wondering, why is it that my bank account never seems to grow? And no matter how hard you work, no matter what you do, it just remains pretty much the same. Well, the truth is, it is not about how much you make. And I know this is not unfamiliar to us. It's really not about what you make. It is about the small everyday habits that quietly drain your money. And today, I am going to share with you the 10 habits. And I'm calling them habits because they're things that we develop over a period of 30 days. And anything you do over a period of 30 days becomes something that you're habitually doing that you may need to pause and consider shifting. So, as I said, I'll be breaking down 10 things that I have used within my personal um, money management um, policies or processes to help me break away from being broke. And I'm going to start the first habit. So if you need to grab your pens and your papers, feel free. I'll give you 2 minutes. No, 2 minutes is too long. What am I talking about? I'll give you 5 seconds, guys. I wonder if I'm going to get copyright for that. Well, we'll see. All right, so back to business. Um, Now, remember, one of the things also that I need to share with you is that I'm no expert in financial money management. And the information that I share on my platform are personal experience, desires that I have, and things that I want to impart within your spirits because I have experienced them either directly or indirectly. So these are just things that come from my own experiences that I want to share with you as nuggets. And if they do not align with any financial theories or financial hypotheses, please bear in mind, remind yourself that I am doing this from my own experience and my own background with things that have happened to me or persons within my circle. All right. So the first habit is habit one, and that habit is about lifestyle creep. Now, oftentimes when you hear about lifestyle creep, in whatever version you hear it in, it may be called something else, but I'm going to explain what it is so you can better understand. It is essentially how you allow your lifestyle to creep up with you in your current income bracket. So for example, you get a raise and suddenly you're spending more. So it can either be a raise or a new job, new opportunity finds itself within your space. And immediately your lifestyle starts to creep up with that new increase or that new opportunity. So what you find yourself doing is that you're spending to match that new opportunity or that new raise. You probably start to buy new clothes, new gadgets, and you start to treat yourself with things that aren't necessarily things that you need, but things that you are using as part of your lifestyle creep, right? And why this has been an experience for me in my early 20s, I remember getting it was a fairly decent, you know, income bracket paying job. And I remember immediately I went and I bought myself a fabulous car. No, at the time, did I need a car? Maybe not. I had a car already. Was it a working car? Certainly it was. But lifestyle creep, and I just decided, oh, I'm going to get myself a brand new car, even though nothing was wrong with the car that I was driving. And I went and my lifestyle crept up with my new income. Now that for sure started to show itself in my bank account, because immediately whatever residual income I would have had starts to now be channeled into that new treat, that new thing, and I wasn't able to see the benefits or see my account climbing, right? So be careful of that. Now, how do you break away from that? Now, my recommendation and what worked for me was that each time my income increased, I decided, and it was a deliberate action on my part, I decided to save or invest a portion of that income or that income bracket to something, right, that will now either make my money work for me or I would have saved it. So for me, the recommendation is once you have a raising income or a new income bracket opportunity, to save or invest at the very least 20% of what that new income or opportunity income bracket is. And that is one way that you will be able to see increases in your bank account, and your bank account will grow with you. Now, the second habit that I wanted to drop into your spirit is what I have also experienced in what is called impulse spending. Now, one of the most dangerous things about getting to a place where you're not consciously thinking about how you're spending your money will definitely lead you down to this road of being broke. And the idea behind it is that once you're spending, you should not spend based on an impulsive reaction. You should consider and put thought into how you're spending. Now, what does an impulse spending look like? Simple. You turn on Amazon, you turn on any other of those online shopping platforms, and you're just scrolling. You have no intentions, you have no real intentions, but you see something and you just buy. Oftentimes you're using either money that you have already earned, or you are going to be utilizing credit or line of credit via your credit card. Now we get into the credit card thing later. But certainly, in order to break away from being broke, impulse spending is something that you should minimize at the very best. At the very best. I'm not even saying at the very least, because you need to do this more than you think. Now, how do you deal with impulse spending? Now, my recommendation and what has worked for me to break away from being broke is what I call the 24-hour rule. Now, here is what the rule says. If it is that the thing that you're about to buy or about to click on, if you can let it stay there for 24 hours and you come back to it and you still feel the need to do a purchase, then go ahead. But if you let it sit in your cart or sit wherever it needs to be for 24 hours and you come back to it and you're not going buy, then that is an impulse spend that you need to be done away with, right? So applying that 24 rule principle will save you from acting impulsively and also will allow you to see growth in your bank account. And of course, break away from being broke. Now, habit number 3, no budget. Now, my cornerstone support ideology is if you don't know where your money is going, it will certainly disappear. It will disappear. So the paramount thing is budget. It's nothing that you need to pay somebody to do for you. It's a very simple process. As a matter of fact, all you need to do is, again, get a pen and a piece of paper and start to think about the things that are must-haves, needs, and not wants, and start to do your budget. Now, as I said, if you don't give your money a place to go, it will disappear, right? So how do we break away from not having a budget, not putting down something to see where your money is going, to allow it not to disappear? My recommendation to break away from brokenness and to watch your money grow is my 50-30-20 rule. Now, guys, I have a lot of rules, yeah? But work with me. Work with me. You're going to like them. So what is my 50-30-20 rule? My 50-20-30 rule states 50% of what you need to spend is to be spent and budgeted for as a need. Yeah? 30% of what you need to budget for must fall in the bracket of what you want. And 20%, which brings me back to my point 1, must be for savings and investment or to manage your debts. So that's your 50-30-20 rule. Now, how does this rule help you to budget? As I said, 50% of what you earn goes towards needs, your light bill, the things that you must do. 30% will go to the things that you want to do. And then, of course, 20% you save and invest, which, as I said, takes us back to the first rule, which about your lifestyle creep. Always save 20% or invest 20%, right? And that's the third habit that you need to break away from. If you are not budgeting, break away from that habit and start to budget using the 50-30-20 rule. Now, the fourth habit, and I want to drop in your spirit, is the habit of paying only the minimum. You need to break away from that habit. Trust me. There is no way you can see your bank account growing if what you're doing is paying your minimum towards your debts. Now, credit card companies love when you pay the minimums, and we all know why, yeah? Because you're going to take forever to finish paying, yeah? So, break away from paying minimum payments towards your debts. And how you do this? Pay more. It's simple, guys. It's very simple. Pay more than you normally pay as your minimum each month. And do so starting with, of course, your highest interest credit cards. It's that simple. Now, take my word for it. Once you start to break away from these habits, you will see the benefits in your bank account. You will start to see your bank account growing, and you'll see the growth that is happening when you are suddenly able to now rise above the state of being perpetually broke. That's a very important word, perpetually broke. Now, guys, you can be broke, one off, two off, but perpetual brokenness, we're not living here for that life, okay? Now, the fifth habit is ignoring debts. No. Pretending that your debts don't exist doesn't make them go away. I don't know where in any of our lives we ever pretend something away. No matter what our troubles are, you can't pretend it away. It will just remain. And in some instances, it will multiply. So, one habit to break away from in order to see that rise in your bank account, do not ignore your debts. Ignoring your debts cause them to multiply. How do you break away from this habit? List all your debts from the smallest to the largest and start chopping away at them, knocking them down. But you have to be aware of what those are. So, of course, in order for you to not ignore your debts, list them. You have your car payment, you have a little money that you borrow, payday loan, you have some little small money that you borrowed from a family member. Write them down. Do not wish them away. They will only multiply, right? Now, habit number 6, no emergency fund. Now, if you know, you know. From my homeland, we just experienced a major Category 5 hurricane. Now, a lot of persons usually don't have emergency fund. Now, this is a habit that you must break away from. Now, emergency fund is very important. They save you, they help you, they protect you from being broke, right? Emergency funds go towards stuff like a hurricane, health, your car being inoperable. And these are things that can wipe you out if you do not have some form of security that is just dealing with that alone. How have I secured an emergency fund? With what I do, small as it may be, I am consistent in making sure that a certain amount of money is put down monthly outside of my 50, outside of my 30, outside of my 20% rule. I put down, sometimes it's a fixed amount. I don't have to make it a percentage, or I haven't made it a percentage. I've made it a fixed amount. And what it does, it allows you to say, okay, this $1,000 is going towards my emergency fund every month, come what may. I don't touch it until it is an emergency. Yeah? Habit number 7, not investing. Now remember, I spoke about habit number 1. The fact that once you start to have income increases or opportunity income bracket increases, invest. Invest 20% of that income. And even in applying again the 50-30-20 rule, 20% must go towards savings or investment, preferably investment, right? So not investing is a habit that you need to break away from. Saving alone won't make you wealthy. Let me repeat. Savings alone won't make you wealthy. You need to invest. My recommendation is that you start small. Index funds, retirement accounts, micro investing apps, whatever it is, invest in something. Guys, let me repeat. Saving your money is good, but saving alone will not make you rich. Invest in a property, have an Airbnb, do some property rental, invest. Habit number 8, emotional or comparison spending. Now we spoke about impulse buying. Now what is emotional or comparison spending? The two seem to be similar, but I'm going to explain the distinguishing factor. Now you want to keep away from buying things out of emotion or some form of comparing. So emotion meaning, I am feeling sad, I need to buy this. It's not about you seeing something immediately and purchasing, which is the impulse, which we spoke about. This is now you going through a mental state, and through that mental state you're doing an emotional purchase. Stay away from emotional purchases. They are very dangerous and they will keep you in perpetual brokenness. And similarly, comparison spending, stay away from those too. Comparison spending is, oh, my coworker just bought a car, I'm going to buy a car too. Oh, my coworker just bought a house up a fabulous community, I'm going to buy a house of a fabulous community too. Those are emotional and comparison spending, different from impulsive spending now. Because impulsive spending is not driven by any emotional desires or needs. It is just on the spur of the moment. No, that is a very critical habit to do away with. Emotional and comparison spending. How do we break away from this? Pause, like everything else. Sit in the silence of it and ask yourself, what am I feeling? Is there another way to deal with this feeling? Is it a feeling of sadness? Is it a feeling of jealousy? Whatever it is, sit in it for a little bit. Sit in it, and I'm going to use my colloquial language. Sit down in it. Figure it out, because it don't have nothing to do with your pocket. It had to do with your mental state. Sit down in it, figure it out, and correct it, right? All in all, redirect your energy somewhere. That energy of emotional sadness, that energy of jealousy, or in our Jamaicanism, bad mind. Sit down in it and figure it out. You don't need to be buying things because your friends have it. You don't need to be buying something because you're emotionally distressed or depressed. Figure it out. Sit down in the silence of it, figure it out. Number 9, no financial goals. Now this is a habit, guys. Oh my goodness. Have to get rid of this. Your money must have a purpose. You must have a purpose for your money. Whether it is to send yourself back to school, whether it is to build construction and improve your home, your money, or whether it's toward retirement, your money that you're earning must have a purpose. Make it purpose driven. If your money don't have a purpose, it's going to walk out of your bank account, right? How do you fix this habit that we're going to break? You set short-term goals, long-term goals as well, and you make sure that your money is directed either in these avenues, right? Very simple, very, very simple. Hard one to follow, but once you give your money direction, once you set some financial goals, you will not have an issue. And finally, this could be, guys, this could be the pinnacle. This should have been number 1. This should be the pinnacle of the habits. Hanging around financially irresponsible people. I don't think this one needs to be explained, but she's going to explain it. There's a saying in my country that says, birds of a feather fly together, or birds of a feather flock together. And if you find yourself in a group of people that are financially irresponsible, guess what's going to happen to you? You are also going to exhibit financial irresponsible behavior. So my advice to you, my recommendation to break this bad habit, habit number 10, is to stop spending time with people who have no financial regulation, who are just out there being financially irresponsible. Everything they say they want, everything they say they buy, everything they say they just do, impulse, emotional. Stop hanging around them people there. Stop hang around persons who are financially irresponsible, because subconsciously you are going to take on their behavior, and their behavior can lead you down to a path of perpetual brokenness, right? So my recommendation to break away from this habit is to surround yourself with people who are talking about saving, investing, building, and you will also develop the good habit of investing, building, saving, and you will see the impact that that will have on your bank account. Wherever you start, you'll absolutely see the impact of that on your bank account. So in closing, I've just outlined for you 10 habits that keep you in a perpetual state of being broke, and that which we want to eliminate by implementing the recommendations that I have used to take myself out some of the brokenness that I have also been in. Remember, guys, I'm speaking most of these times from my direct experience, right? So in leaving something with you, And this is the truth. If you think that being broke is a state of bad luck, it's not. Guys, it is not a state of bad luck. Sometimes it is, in more times than not, habits. But like everything else, habits can change. And if you start a good habit today, in 21 days, you will develop the habit that will take you in a positive direction. So let us take 1, 2, even 3 of the recommendations provided here for you today and see how your finances shift within the next 21 days. My extraordinaires, if you found this episode helpful, I always ask you to consider subscribing, hitting the like button, sharing, turning on your notification bells, and always have the conversations. As I said, my purpose is to put something in your spirit to take you beyond the ordinary. So, until next time, my beautiful extraordinaires, take care. Until I see you next time. Bye-bye.